Hello and welcome to another video. This one is my March-April TBR, which is going to be slightly different because for the next couple of months, basically Paul is picking my TBR. So he's going to pick 10 books off my TBR bookshelves for me to read. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera around, show you the books on my TBR shelves, and then we'll see Paul picking the 10 books, and then I'll come back on air just to show you the books, speak a bit about them. So let's show you the shelves first. Okay, so these are the two shelves which are my TBR books. So on this top shelf, these are all books that are in my 24 books of 2024. So these are the ones that are left. So hopefully a couple of those will be picked out. We've got some hardbacks here. These are fairly recently from like Christmas and my birthday in November, these books. So it'd be quite good if some of those got on. This shelf here and these two shelves, they've been on my TBR for the longest. So maybe a few of those. This shelf up here is my most recently purchased books, and so these two I've purchased myself. These ones were given to me by my mum. So yeah, I'm keen to see what ones he will pick. We've got some non-fiction down here. I have a feeling this one will, because it's got a cat on the cover. But yeah, this is my two bookshelves that are just purely TBR. There's no rules to it, although it's only one book per author, so he couldn't choose like 4 Stephen King books, for instance. I'm hoping this gets picked out, but I'm not saying anything. So this is A Study in Drowning, and I really want to read that soon, but I'm not going to say anything to him. It's going to be completely his choice. So we are going to see what he chooses. Also, I've still got the Winter Garland on here, which is getting swapped out in the next week or two to the Spring Garland. But yeah, let's see which 10 books he picks. Okay, so Paul has chosen 10 books. Yeah, these books, they're like a whole range of genres and everything. So I'm quite pleased actually with what he's chosen, because a couple of them have been on my TBR for quite a while, like 2 years. He's picked out a couple that was on the shelf for my 24 books of 2024, which he wasn't aware of. He's picked out a new one that I got recently, a couple of ones that I got recently actually. So let's have a look, shall we? We're just going to go through the list. So first of all, we have Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This is one I'm very excited to get to. So I purchased this because it actually fitted a prompt in a reading prompt that I was trying to fill last year, and I just ended up not getting around to reading it. But this one I've heard amazing things about. So it's set in the early 1960s with an all-male team, and we have this chemist, a female chemist. She basically is forced to resign. So I'm just trying to look at the back of this and trying to see how. So yeah, she's forced to resign. She reluctantly signs on as the host of a cooking show called Supper at 6. But her revolutionary approach to cooking, fueled by scientific and rational commentary, grabs the attention of a nation, and soon a legion of overlooked housewives find themselves daring to change the status quo, one molecule at a time. So I think it's basically looking at women in the 1960s and how, nothing was equal, and how this one chemist basically changed the views of women out there and just changed their, ideas. And I think it's one for the feminists, I believe. I'm sure there is some sort of romance that happens in this, or am I completely... No, is that not what happens? I don't know. Apparently there's a lot of humour. There's also some heartbreak in there. Apparently the characters are amazing. I'm just really looking forward to it. So, yeah, looking forward to getting to that. We've also got Station 11, which is by Emily St. John Mandel. This obviously is a disturbing book that lots of people have spoken about. It's very well known. Apparently it's a beautifully written book as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And I believe it's like almost like an apocalyptic story. So after the world going to shit type of thing. So let's have a look at the back of this. So what was lost in the collapse? Almost everything, almost everyone, but there's still such beauty. One snowy night in Toronto, famous actor Arthur Leander dies on stage whilst performing the role of a lifetime. That same evening, a deadly virus touches down in North America. The world will never be the same again. 20 years later, Kirsten, an actress in the Travelling Symphony, performs Shakespeare in the settlements that have grown up since the collapse. But then her newly hopeful world is threatened. If civilization was lost, what would you preserve, and how far would you go to protect it? So apparently it's just visually stunning. It's atmospheric. There's a lot of great reviews for this, as well as it being quite disturbing. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is another one that's high up on my agenda. It was actually written, so this actually came out in 2014. But obviously since then we have actually had a virus pandemic as well. So this was obviously written before then. But it's very well known. I'm pretty sure there's like a film or a film that's out now from this. But anyway, that's another one that I'm looking forward to. Then we have Stalker by Lisa Stone. Basically just says on there, you think you're safe, but are you? This is obviously going to be a thriller. And it basically says Derek Flint is a loner. He lives with his mother and spends his evenings watching his clients on the CCTV cameras he has installed inside their homes. Middle-aged man living with his mother, very lonely. We can see where this is going to go. He likes the companionship, even if it's through a screen. When a series of crimes hits Derek's neighbourhood, DC Beth Mays begins to suspect he's involved. How does he know so much about the victims' lives? Why won't he let anyone into his office? And what is his mother hiding in that strange, lonely house? As the crimes become more violent, Beth must race against the clock to find out who is behind the attacks. Will she uncover the truth in time? And is Derek more dangerous than even she has guessed? It's obviously a crime fiction. I'm very intrigued by this as well, actually. Yeah. And then we have A Mask of Shadows by Oscar de Muriel. So this is two detectives. It's set in Scotland. I have read two other books which is from the same series. It's always set in like the 1800s as well. I just absolutely love this series. I think Oscar de Muriel is a very good author. This is the third book in the series, and basically following Detective McGray and Inspector Ian Frey. And I like the characters as well. There's a lot of good things to say about this series. So they've always trying to solve some sort of murder mystery. And then again, this one I'm very excited about because I've been meaning to read this for such a long time. This is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. And Robin Hobb is an author that I have been meaning to get around to reading for a very long time. So I'm excited. This is very much like fantasy, and following a character called Fitz, who is a very lovable character. A lot of people that have read this series absolutely loves the character of Fitz. But yeah, I think it's like a kingdom and all of that sort of thing, with a civil war is about to break out. And yeah, it's all that kind of, probably like a royal, back in those, like in the royal court possibly, I think. I don't know, but I just think, yeah, I'm excited to read this. So the writing is tiny in this. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get to this one in the next couple of months for sure. And then we have Venom by Jane Brady. So this is a thriller, I believe, possibly involving a hitman. So recently released from prison, David Marion didn't expect to find a hitman at his door. Warned that a powerful secret organisation is after him, David goes underground, waiting for the perfect moment to wreak revenge. Mourning the recent death of her lover, physicist Helen Frell has just accepted the offer of a research post at a giant pharmaceutical company. She joins the team close to finding a cure for radiation poisoning, which will not only save lives but make millions for the company. But when a colleague dies in mysterious circumstances, Helen starts to doubt her employer's motives. And when she realises that her own life is in danger too, she knows she has to act fast. So I think there's like probably a bit like almost like spy sort of thing. Is that it? What's it? Like CIA type of action. So yeah, it's going to be quite good, I reckon. Then we have Ninth Grade. The Ninth Grave by Stefan Annam. This is one from my 24 books of 2024. I've been meaning to read this for about 2 years now. And so I put it on to make sure I read it this year. It was also, did actually go on my TBR in January, and I just didn't get around to reading it because it fitted a prompt when I was doing a readathon, like the Winter Ween readathon. And yeah, I just didn't get to this one. I had 4 books to read for it because there was 4 prompts and I only read 3 of those. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It's basically set in Stockholm, and obviously it's going to be like a bit of a Nordic noir type of thing. Proper Swedish crime. I'm absolutely going to love it. I just know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love it. It's quite a chunky book. I think that's why I've always kind of put it off, because I've always been a bit intimidated by it, but definitely reading it. Then we have a book that I've only recently got. I got this on Monday and I'm filming this on Wednesday. So 2 days ago I got this. It's one of the books that my mum gave me after she'd finished reading it. So it's If You Go Down to the Woods by Seth C. Adams. It's going to be a thriller because my mum only ever reads the thrillers. And it basically says something is hiding in the shadows. We were so young when it all happened, just 13 years old, making the most of the long, hot, lazy days of summer, thinking we had the world at our feet. That was us. Me, Fat Bobby, Jim and Tara, the 4 members of the Outsiders Club. The day we found a burnt out car in the woods was the day everything changed. Cold, hard cash in the front seat and a body in the trunk. It started out as a mystery we were desperate to solve. Then the collector arrived. He knew we had found a secret. And suddenly our summer of innocence turned into the stuff of nightmares. Nothing would ever be the same again. So apparently it's an atmospheric, gritty page turner. I have a very vague memory of this book. I am pretty sure I might have read this about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Just because I recognise the synopsis. But I don't remember this cover. I don't remember this author. So I don't know. But the synopsis sounds very, very very familiar to me. So we shall see. But I'm still going to read it, even if I have read it before. Usually I can remember all the books I've read. So I don't know whether maybe I've just read this synopsis before. I don't know. It sounds very familiar. Or maybe it's like another book is like along the same sort of lines. I don't know. And I apologise if you can hear Leo. He's being banned from coming into the room whilst I'm filming, but he's at the door because try keeping a cat out of the room. Then we have a Dean Koontz book. Your Heart Belongs to Me. It's a terrifying new thriller. Obviously not new now, but yeah, I've been wanting to read a Dean Koontz book for absolutely ages. I do have another one of his as well, I think called Soul Survivor or something, which is about a plane crash, possibly. This one says at 34, Ryan Perry never expected to find himself on a waiting list for a heart transplant with time running out. So when miraculously he receives a new heart and the transplant is a success, he thinks his troubles are over. A year later, he has never felt so good. And then comes a terrifying threat. Everything he has, his money, his reputation, his friends, his freedom, and his new heart will all be ripped away from him. He is promised a nightmare death. In grave danger, alone with his beating heart and his secrets, can Ryan unlock the mystery of the enemy who threatens his very existence. Prepare for the unexpected in this compelling and fast-paced thriller from the master of suspense. I'm really excited to read a Dean Koontz book. I have heard so many good things about this author. So yeah, I'm glad this one was picked as well. I'm quite glad of all of these ones actually. And then we have a Chris Ryan book. So Paul's dad gave me a bunch of books. A lot of them was Clive Cussler, Chris Ryan, those sort of books. So very much your adventure packed, action packed type of books. So this is basically about two soldiers. I'm going to go into this, I think, a bit with a blind eye. Go into this blind. Oh my days, I can't even speak. Maybe I'm not going to read that full synopsis because I kind of want to go into this blind because I kind of feel like I'm going to have a good time with it. I don't always read these type of books. It's got a very action-packed cover as well, as you can see. I don't read these kind of books usually, but I have always been keen to give them a try. I do quite like action-packed thrillers, and these are obviously going to be very action-packed. I do quite like when it's something to do like the SAS or the CIA or something like that. So I reckon I'm going to be in for a treat with this one. So there we have it. Those are the 10 books. Obviously very different genres, all of them, very different. We've got a bit of fantasy, we've got a bit of contemporary, we've got your action, we've got some horror, a lot of thrillers. Yeah, we've got quite a good, you like your little cozy mysteries. Yeah, quite a good selection of books. So I'm really excited for that. In video wise, coming in March, I will be doing a reading vlog where I read 3 female authors. So I will pick 3 female authors out of this stack to read for that reading vlog because it is Women's History Month and it is National Women's Day on the 8th. So I want to do a reading vlog for that and put it up on the 8th. I also will possibly do a reading vlog a bit later on in the month where I read 3 new releases because I have pre-ordered quite a few books recently and I've had 2 that have arrived. I am reading one at the moment which I think is going to carry on into March. I don't think I'm going to finish it by tomorrow, so that's fine. It'll be in my March wrap up, and that is A Tempest of Tea. But I do have a few others that I've recently had pre-ordered and they've arrived. So I want to do a reading vlog where I read 3 latest released books. So that is the plan. So that's 2 reading vlogs that I've got going on. There are a few days as well where I've got quite a lot going on my Instagram actually because I have pretty much a post every single day in March going on my Instagram. So you can check that out as well. It's Books at Plenty Reviews 1, the number 1. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting reading month. Obviously these 10 books are for March and April. So whatever ones I don't read this month, I will put on into April as well. But I thought it would be quite a good idea just to let Paul choose my TBR. He did it quite quickly. He didn't hang around. He doesn't really know any of the books that are on those shelves at all because he's not a reader. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the selection. So yeah. Thank you I can't get my words out. Thank you very much for watching. And I will be back soon with another video. But bye for now.